In the last 50 years, Iowa has lost over 50% of its topsoil because of fence row to fence row farming starting back in the 70s when Earl Butz came in. And then the other factor is we've got monocultural crops. That's corn and soybeans on a rotation basis. If you think about that, for those of us who are older, farms used to look totally different than what they do now. We produce crops for ethanol plants for single types of use, where before we used to have livestock, we used to have hay, we used to have oats, we used to have soybeans, used to have corn, and other products and other types of things as well. And each of those legumes has a particular purpose in a rotation to help reduce the fungicides, the insecticides, and the herbicides that we now are substituting for crop rotation.
The soils in Iowa are stratified. Take a look on this page right here. You'll see the stratification of it. You see they've supposedly taken off the topsoil, and they didn't take off enough on this farm. This happens to be my farm. Then it goes down to the subsoil, so you've got different horizons. We are raising corn here, and this field of corn right back here made over 200 bushel an acre. The first year I put beans on this easement, the beans didn't produce enough to pay for the seed. That's what they've done to our soil.
You know, we're already a wind leader. Folks have probably noticed wind turbines popping up all over the state. We are actually second in the country in terms of the overall wind generation amounts. The renewable resources tend to be complementary. Solar produces at times that are different than when wind produces. We have the 16th best solar resource in the country. We have nowhere near that in terms of the amount of solar generation that we currently have here. So there's a ton of potential. When you combine that with aggressive energy efficiency, when you start thinking about battery storage, we have the potential to produce all the energy that we need using those renewable sources.
The Green New Deal is reminiscent of the New Deal, and it covers a comprehensive aspects of our society. So jobs, energy, and what's really near and dear to my heart, environmental justice. Government programs on a massive, far-reaching scale that help us to act as quickly as we can to move to 100% renewable energies in 10 years.
As a Native American women are the one of the highest, or actually the highest group in the country that is missing and or goes murdered. On some reservations, the murder rate is 10 times the national average. In 2016, there was almost 6,000 Native American women within the missing persons database. And so, and that number is actually very much probably on the low end. That is very much related to resource extraction. For instance, man camps have huge issues on our communities. It brings in a certain type of person where we have incidences that I don't really want to talk about here that are just too disturbing to relay at this particular meeting, that they're just really hard to talk about.
Let's see, how far does our snack travel before it hits our plate? Does this sound attractive? 1,500 miles from farm to plate? No, it's really not. In average, that's how far your food will travel to get to you. Think about the amount of resources and nutrients that are lost while it's traveling. Let's think about, in our state, it's about average of 56 miles. That sounds a lot better, but then that leads us to food security and what can we grow here and what's being done to grow more food here. Why are 1 in 8 people suffering from hunger? When we have over 160 billion pounds of food waste each year.
What you see in this room is what I see all over this country. We have enough people in this country who know what the problems are, and even more significantly, we have enough people in this room, in this country, as evidenced by people who've already spoken here, who know what the solutions are. That's not the problem. I also believe that if harnessed correctly, we would have the consensus of the American people to apply these solutions. That's not where the problem is. The biggest problem we have in all of these issues is the profound amount of money spent by multinational corporations, fossil fuel companies, chemical companies, agribusiness, etc., to make sure that the brain of the American people is scrambled enough that they are not connecting the dots, that people are believing all the false information, that they're paying billions of dollars on climate denial, etc. That is where the problem is. And until we address the fact that our political system, our entire political establishment refuses to address this fundamental issue on the way it needs to be addressed, we will continue to be in some version of where we are. It is we, the people of the United States, who need to step in now, not only for the salvation of our democracy, but possibly for the salvation of the human race, to make sure that this stuff stops, and stops now.